hustle, determination, ambition, and sacrifice. That's the biggest thing I can tell you. You're gonna have to sacrifice. I'm gonna be teaching startup entrepreneurs everything. You gotta get up early and stay up late. Read, write, study. I'm just a hustler that has a lot of wisdom to share over 16 years of entrepreneurship. I'm back at it, baby. My job is to create something for the people. Even though the people may struggle with trying to relate in the beginning to the vernacular, the dialect, or the examples even. I have a proven track record that I have overcome those problems. So that's what I can provide. I can help people get ahead of the curve, get ahead of those problems.
Different from vision. Mission was our purpose. Why we went to business, why we going. I help failing small business entrepreneurs save their business and life from failure. My vision is to make so much money by so many dates. I'm going to do so many shows, sell so many books. Has nothing to do with my purpose. My purpose is I help failing small business entrepreneurs on Periscope, on Glide, on the phone, on the email, in person. That's what I do.
Yeah, crank me up a little bit.
Whoa, welcome back. My name is Cash Parrish. For those that don't know, we are broadcasting live, doing the podcast show live today. So I'm just going to be doing a few bouncing back and forth to different cameras. If you are watching it on a live stream while I'm podcasting, I won't be able to engage with all the different platforms and control the system. So please forgive me if you put something on the screen. I will catch it down in the comments when I go backwards. But for those that don't know, I try to record my podcast live at least once a week. And try to put it on a different platform. So today we're broadcasting on YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook simultaneously, or simulcasting. So we are dropping it just like that. So we got a lot to go into today, and the topic is going to be coming up. But before we do that, let's get the preliminaries out the way. My name is Cash Parrish. I help entrepreneurs create the content that sells. So I am the owner of the Co-Create Digital Studio, and that is a content creation studio and marketing company. We teach digital business and marketing to entrepreneurs as well as content creation. So if you're a podcaster, if you're a marketer, if you're a digital entrepreneur, this is the place to be. This is the channel to be on. So before we dive into the topic, let's go back and talk about my history, because people always want to know if you have the credibility to be saying what you're saying. So, I started out in entrepreneurship at the age of 17. And let me go back and say this too, because Podcast Live is about me giving that energy, since we don't have the ability to travel around and speak on stages and things like that at this time. I won't be able to get around and maneuver because of COVID-19. We're bringing that same type of energy, but through my podcast, I'm able to still give you that. Now, we have two different types of podcast shows. One is laid back, where I'm just kicking it, and then we have Podcast Live, where I am giving the best of the best that I can give to you all out there for the free 99, for the free ski. Now, anybody who know about content creation is a way to market yourself, and that's why we created in the Co-Create Digital Studio. That's why we do these content pieces, so that way we can have evergreen content out there that can help us with our brands. So that is what we have. Now, my name is Cash Parrish. I started out in entrepreneurship at the age of 17, where I first got my class at Forshey, or LC Forshey High School. It is uptown New Orleans, and that is where I started to first learn about business. But I've been through everything in entrepreneurship that I started in 1996, from the profits to the losses, to the hurricanes, to the break-ins, to the fires, to, marital issues. We dealing with birth of children, to succession of life for our elders and our siblings and things like that, all while running a business since 1996. So I have over probably 24 years of entrepreneurship experience. So that is why I am qualified to tell you about the things that I'm going to tell you about. I'm an author. I'm an author of some of these books that I'm going to put on the screen for you. At the bottom, you can see that there is God Hustle, and another one, let's say on this side, should be Got Clientele. You can find those books on my website. If they are not available at the time, maybe a link is broken, click the comments or the contact us and let let me know. I will gladly get those to you. I also am the author of a new book that is coming out pretty soon. I think it's already on there. You have to check the site. But it's Got Schemes. That should be on there as well. I got a lot in my mind, so it's hard to keep up with things. But Got Schemes should be out, and I can tell you about those later. But we're going to get past that. We're going to dive back into the things that I have to say. So business architect, author, speaker, as well as entrepreneur. I've been doing this a long time, and I've been married since 2001, so you do the math. And running businesses, I said since 96, got into business. 1997, opened up a car wash with my brother and some other people. Epic fail. I could tell you all about it. Being a kid, trying to open up a business and be an entrepreneur. So there's a lot of things to cover and discuss. Now, again, if you are out there in the Facebook world and things like that, welcome to the channel. If you are on YouTube, if you are listening to it on the podcast, this is the podcast live show, and forgive us if we cannot engage with you directly on the screen, because frankly, I just can't see you. I got to. So lastly, I'm saying that to say 2005, to 2014, me and my wife worked hand in hand together in entrepreneurship and built a business out in Columbus, Georgia. Now, I was in business before I met her. I was doing business when I met her, and we decided that we was going to not necessarily collaborate, but help me out to get the next business off the ground after Katrina. When we moved to Columbus, Georgia, had a newborn child, and we was trying to bounce back from a epic loss of a business and a home simultaneously. So those are the reasons that I'm broadcasting, because people ask me all the time about, doing things, and they want the support of their mate. They also want the support from their friends and family, whatever, and they want to bring all that together in business. And Cash, what are your thoughts? So I'm saying those things to tell you that there's no right or wrong way. It's going to be my perspective and my view. Now, if you see at the bottom of the screen, it says power couples goals, because people like to say power couple. We have goals, bay goals, and all of these type of goals we want to create. These goals that you decide that you want to create, we're going to talk about it. Now, I'm about to get warmed up. We're going to talk about it. Those goals are very unique. Now, when you talk about marriage, that's one set of goals. When you talk about business, that's one set of goals. And then when you merge the two, that's a whole nother monster. But now we're going to talk about, oh man, how can I want to give that disclaimer that it's not good and it's not bad. It's not right and it's not wrong. I'm biased because of my experience in entrepreneurship and in marriage. So I have a biased opinion, but I don't want that to infect your mind to tell you you're doing the wrong thing or the right thing. That is not what the broadcast is about. That is not what my podcast is about. My podcast is about telling you what's going to be on your journey, your road to success, as you way that only you and Bay can go on, should you have the Bay goals where you put together some kind of entrepreneurial dream with the wife or with the hubby. Now, you have to make that decision, because, see, why I said it's not right or wrong, because life hits us all at different stages and different phases. So some of these things that I'm saying, you will experience them and go through them. Do you want to go through them with your mate, or do you want to go through them with your employees and your regular staff? Because you're going to go through ups and downs and pitfalls. There'll be profits, there'll be losses, there'll be hurricanes, there'll be COVID-19, there will be recessions. There are going to be a lot of other things that come into entrepreneurship, and you and I have to make that decision. Do we want to do that together, working under the same roof, same business, same building, and also cohabiting in life together as parents, as lovers, and all of those things? Now, the first thing you're going to have to, let me say this, on your journey to your destiny, whatever your destiny is, on your journey, you have to make a critical decision. Am I starting some form of entrepreneurship because I need a job, want a job, have to have a job, or am I trying to create a company? Or is it passive income? And I'm going to define all three of them as fast and as quick as possible, because I want you to think about these things, because these are some things that I had to think about. When you are creating entrepreneurship, I can't even say it like that. Let's say when you're creating a small business and you're deciding that it's because you want to replace your current income with a new income, that is typically a job. A job is what supports you as a single individual, and it makes you say, now I don't work for the man. Now I don't have to check in. I don't have to clock in. I come in, I leave, I do the customers I want, I deny the customers I don't want, because I am my own boss. I am a sole proprietor. I am an entrepreneur. I am a businessman. You could add in all of those titles, but you and I have to come to the conclusion, is this a job or is this a company? Company, what do you mean by job versus company? Because you have started a business does not mean you're a company. Company is like, hey, can you come and accompany me to the corner store? Can you come over tonight and keep me company? It's more than one. It's duplicity, trilicity. It's everything other than being solo dolo. So when you bring in your spouse already, your mindset should at least be company, but we're going to talk about it. You see, so when you're having a company, see, there's so many more things that come with company, the hiring, and I'm getting ahead of myself, the training, the rules, the regulations, the policies, the procedures, because you and I have the mindset sometimes that if an individual is smart, intellectual, they're grown, they're past 18, past 21, they should know what to do. But that is not the reality of running a business. And let me not get ahead of myself. The last what I'm talking about is so let's define company. So company is going to be when it's more than one, when you have structure, when you have the ability to recreate that business on any block, on the internet, multiple, you're able to grow it, growing staff and growing money. You are focused on building a company because it takes money to have staff. It takes staffs to make money. The two go hand in hand. Now, I'm just trying to drop out as much as I could give you, as fast as I could give you, because you got to come back for the whole thing. But this is over 24 years of knowledge that I'm trying to impart to you in a 30-minute segment. It just won't happen. So come back, subscribe, hit the subscribe link if you are not a subscriber. We're going to keep on moving on, though. And thank y'all for joining this podcast live. So as I'm saying, now you decide that passive income, because some people talk about this all the time. And let me tell you where this really go back to. You see a lot of memes and a lot of people saying, I want to create this business with Bay and travel the world and do that. Look, man, if you have a business, kids, marriage, the chances that you're able to have free time is slim to none. We're going to talk about it. So I'm saying, should you or shouldn't you create a business with Bay? Is that power couple goals? You're going to have to make the decision for yourself. Again, I'm biased because of my experience, but I'm just going to lay some facts out there. Not some theories, not some ideas. These are some facts now. Passive income don't exist. Because people keep talking about, I'm going to make passive income. Look, if you have real estate, and these are two different things. Somebody say, well, I'm going to just get some commercial property and rent it. Well, I mean, that's not what we talk about. When we talk about opening up a business that's open 24/7, at least 8 hours to 12 hours a day, round the clock. That's a whole different type of different portfolio. Most of the people who, when they say they opening up their own business, they selling a product or a service, and they selling those things consistently around the clock to multiple diverse people over and over and over to make an income, not to one tenant that may stay for 6 months, a year, 10 years, whatever. Two different type of markets. You talk about passive income, some money that's just rolling in on the internet. Nah, that don't work like that. Because soon as you SEO your site to be the top so it could just rake in money, somebody else trying to re-engineer or what's the word I want to say? Redesign the system so they could beat your process in search engine optimization, so they could reverse engineer. That's what I'm trying to say. Reverse engineer how you got there, how many backlinks you got. Somebody's always coming for your spot. So passive income, I mean, people always say that, man, you can make this type of money on Amazon. Hey, look, man, that's a different kind of conversation. I don't believe in passive income. I have not seen the person, even in real estate, I haven't seen the person who don't have to check on their property, go fix leaky sinks and broken fans and replace pipes and plumbing and deal with the damage from the hurricanes or the wind. It is always something that happens to be needed. So am I trying to say that there's no such thing as passive income? No. What I'm trying to tell you is telling me you're able to make company money, not job money, company money passively. I have to see it to believe it. I have never seen it in my life. Nah, somebody say, whoo, I'm jumping all over the place. I'm trying to keep it straight and narrow, but when I say one thing, it opens up another can of worms. So now I'm going to talk about, do you understand what you're trying to establish? Are you trying to establish a company, a job, or some passive income? Because passive income, we can hang that up. You and your girl could go out there and do whatever. You and your guy could go out there and sell a few Nikes on the side or something like that. That's not a company. That's not the business we're talking about. If you're just trying to open up a job, it's going to be too hard to... So let's say this, sales. You got so many different things you have to look at. You have to do the sales. How do you get, grow, and keep customers? How do you make sales around the clock? How do you keep that funnel clicking and jumping? How do you redesign or re-engineer your funnel that it doesn't erode on you? It constantly gets better and better and better. You got to have profits. The difference between sales and profits could be a slim margin, depending on what you're selling, how much you're selling it for, where you got the products for to put in it, the price points during COVID-19 versus during a recession versus that. It's so many different degrees in it. Now we're talking about taxes. Taxes are usually, without you taking all the discounts and this, that, and the third, taxes are about, I said discounts, what's the word I want to say? All of the benefits that the government allow you to make deductions from. Without that information, just about 1/3 of every dollar you make goes to taxes, theoretically, before your deductions, right? So that's not a science. That's just a broad number. So don't nobody try to quote that. You know what I'm saying? But it's about 1/3, a third of all the money you make. You got to understand labor costs. You have to understand operational costs. Labor costs is what you're going to pay your staff and everybody who works for you. Minimum wage in New Orleans is about $7.25. If you want to get a good paying job, you probably get up to about $20, $15 at 40 hours a week, $600 a week. Really, nobody is really balling off of $600 a week. So the less you could pay your staff, the less genius or the less intellectual your staff members are, because you don't have the money or the revenue to pay for the top of the notch minds, right? Now you still got to think about the rental facility that you're in. If you have a commercial space or some kind of retail space or some kind of office space, typically your rent is about 10% of your gross, right? So now if you're 10% in your gross, and these numbers, I always talk about this because it's crucial. It's crucial to you to understand if you are making an average of $200,000 a year, you're typically paying about $20,000 for rent, give or take. Now somebody say, oh, I don't need that much space or that much rent. I mean, you got to break it down into 12 months and look at the facility that you're in, the quality of customer that you have, and the place that you need to be in to operate efficiently and bring in the type of traffic. If you say, well, I'm an all digital business, you still need a place to host meetings, bring in staff, have other people to help you, typically. So every situation could be different, but we're talking about standard across the board. These are standard things. Now, if you want to ball, because I talk to people all the time and people think the number one way to get money is to open up a business. If you and your spouse and your wife just have a fetish for money and want to make crazy loot and dough, I suggest you don't open a business. Somebody say, Cash, what do you mean don't open a business? I wouldn't open a business because 80% of all businesses fail within the first 5 years. So if you plan on being married for 10 years, you and your wife, you and your husband probably going to open up a business that's going to fail. In the next 5 years, 80% of the remaining 20%, they fail. So within 10 years, only 1 out of 10 businesses make it. So if you really want to open up a business, and that is your earnest desire to get yourself a company and a business with your spouse, you have to consider people fall in love with their business and emotionally connected and attached to that business like a child. And that child has the potential of dying 2 horrible deaths in the first 10 years of life. Now that's something you're going to have to put that in your pipe and smoke it. You're going to really have to understand that when you decide to get into entrepreneurship, this has to be a total conviction. You have to be convinced in your mind that this is what you are born to do. This is what you was made to do. This is your calling at this stage of your life, is to be an entrepreneur. You cannot be half-hearted, half-assing, going in this thing half-cocked. It got to be focused. You got to be in it. You got to be locked in. Somebody, Cash, I'm not understanding, because they tell me you. Again, we talk about, do you want a job, do you want a company, or do you want passive income? Because passive income to the level of company money just don't exist. Job money, company money, 2 different levels of money. 2 different levels of success. You could be the greatest baker, have the most fabulous cakes and pies, be the greatest designer, have the best gear or widgets for sale, and cannot sell them because you do not understand business, entrepreneurship, marketing, things like that. Or you can only sell it at a rate that's good enough for you and maybe your spouse with a 2-man team. Now, I said that because we got to get into, what do you truly want to sell? Are we selling a product, or are we selling a service? Because there's a great difference. If you selling a product or if you selling a service, so let's say, I gotta say products, you can order those, remark them up the price, and boom, put them back out there or flip them, or you might could have an assembly line making products that, boom, I'm selling onesies all day long, onesies, right? But when you talk about selling a service, typically it is done with a creative or a entrepreneur that decides he's gonna sell a service. They either use their mind to do it, so it's unique to them. They use their hands to do it, so it's unique to them, or some personal set of skills that typically, I went to video school, so I know how to edit and shoot photography or whatever. I went to tattoo school, so I know how to do the tattoos, or hair school, or I went to school for marketing and business management, so I'm going to open up and be able to orchestrate these things. When you create a personal brand business, that's different from systems-driven business. If you have a personal brand business, it's usually attached to you, your celebrity, your name, your influence, and it's usually attached to what a set of skills that you have as an individual. Try to open up a creative business by yourself, bring your spouse in, and you're still gonna be by yourself. Somebody said, why you say that? Because if you're the only one that can make the widget, if you're the only one that can think like that, to write that business plan, that marketing plan, that brand development strategy, to run that social media platform, if you're the only one could do the labor that the customer comes in to purchase, then you're alone and by yourself. Somebody say, why am I alone by myself? Because you have built a company around you and are not around systems and products or duplicity. You have built it around singularity. And that is going to be complicated. Why? Because your spouse may be, and I'm not telling you this is going to happen, but typically the spouse looking at the number saying, we got to hit this many widgets today, sales, because we need that to run the operation. And you like, man, my back hurt today. Man, I am totally stressed out today. Man, my blood pressure sky high. Widget got to get sold, you by yourself, right? So are you opening up a business that's a product business or a service-based business, and can your spouse actually do the process that the customers come to buy? Because people could work in the office all day. People could do clerical work all day. People could do front desk, answering the phone, talking to the customers, giving price quotes all day long. But can they help you produce the actual product or the service that the customer is coming for? If the customer buying a wedding cake, can the wife get in there and do it? Nah, this the complexity that you run into. If both of y'all in there making the cake, who's running the business? So it gets complicated because every time you're selling a product or a service, you're not running the business. If you're running the business, you're probably not selling products or services, right? So you got to ask yourself, did you just start this to have a company or a job? Because if you have started this to understand, let's go back and say, do you and I understand the depths of business? Do we understand sales is a department? It's when you're making sales, when you're trying to get sales, sales is not when I make a sale. Sales is something people do all day long. They write, they strategize, they come up with ideas to create better sales strategies and sales funnels. Marketing is an all day long task. It's not something you could do and then go back and make the widget. Not theoretically. I mean, people do it all the time, but the successful people understand that they have to build a company and they cannot do this job thing. Cash, I thought you was talking about power couples and goals and working with your spouse. I am, because I'm saying before we can even get to the point of should you work with your spouse, do you even understand what a business is? Do you understand that a business deals with social media, communications, marketing, advertisement, hiring, training, customer relationships? Do you understand these things? Analytics, market research, brand development, design, product design. Do you understand all of these things are embedded inside of business? Before you even get there, do you understand that those are multiple systems that should be running concurrently all the time, every time? If you understand that, now what position should you have? What position should your spouse have? Because if you're making the widgets, can they run the rest of the systems? Because systems is how you sustain life. The human body has over 1,500 processes and systems running at all times. If your respiratory system decides to shut down, it'll kill a body. Marketing. If your another one of your system, respiratory, endocrine, all of them systems, right? If something else shut down, you're dead. You kill a branding. You kill a sales. Something else shuts down, it can kill the whole business. So I'm saying, do you understand the depths of business? Because while we making cute memes and deciding this is what I want to do you even understand? So let me tell you this. The average amount of time that a person is in their business, a small business owner, independent, theoretically, it's about 60 hours. Now, you could do your research if you think I'm lying. You Google how long people work in the business. The average person works about 60 hours. Now, when you don't have no employees by yourself, the average small business owner do about 47,000. That's what I'm talking about. That's job money. That's what they do. That's what we all do. That's where we start at. If you don't have no staff, it's hard to be an independent solo entrepreneur generating 6 figures on a consistent basis. That's just, you're going to have to outsource some. I haven't seen it. I've been in the game a long time. People try to make it seem like they're doing all of that in front of the Instagram camera, and you come to find out they outsourcing overseas. They got this person. They hire these people to do graphics. They hire these people to mix the podcast. You and I going to have to understand that most of this work does not happen alone. But 60 hours is the average amount of time. Cash, why are you saying that? All of these things are important because if you're working on the business for 60 hours, are you working on the marriage? Are you working on a family? Now, I'm going to tell you something. I wrote down some notes. So I'm looking down at these notes just to make sure I don't miss nothing because I got lots to say. Now, when it comes down to the average amount of money that an entrepreneur makes with employees, it's about $71,000. That's the average. Because we're not going to deal with the unicorns of business. We're not going to do that. We're going to deal with what you and I, what most people who are online, again, 9 out of 10 won't make it 10 years. You're not going to see, man, I'm making millions of dollars, but then my business is closed up. And it typically closed up something to do with finances. You either was making a lot of money and fell off or you never came up. but that is usually the heart of the problem. Too much work. You may have been great at what you did, but then your body gave out on you. Making 6 figures, but then your back went out, your hands went out, your elbows went out because you put too much weight on yourself. You might have been making real money, but your mind went out, stressed out you going crazy, like, I can't do it no more. So I'm saying the average person does about 71. But I forget if the number is 40% because I didn't write it down. But I want to say over the last 10, 15 years that I've been dealing with, companies, I think the average small business does about $100,000. Like that's about the ceiling, most people make. Now with $100,000, you're not gonna really too much hire nobody. You know what I'm saying? Again, you gotta go back to what I said earlier. If you got 10% going on the rent, that means 10,000 gone back, you down to 90. If you paid your taxes, paid this one, how much could you really afford to pay after operational costs, labor costs, and all those things so you could bring your spouse in? But if you got this supportive attitude, my spouse should come and support me and be there at the business to give me a helping hand, can you afford to pay the spouse a livable wage? Because you shouldn't, let's say it like this, you and I shouldn't reduce the household income on a permanent basis because we don't understand business and entrepreneurship. So I'm saying if you really want to make money, 86% of all businesses that are small businesses make less than 100K. So I said earlier, opening up a business ain't how you ball. Go do 401k, go invest in stocks, go do something different that you may get the opportunity to see that luxury lifestyle. Go get your corporate job, put your money in 401k. But opening up a business with Bay, and you call that Bagels, and this is what we're doing, boy, I'm telling you, they got so many things on the journey. And I'm trying to get you there. Now, let's talk about marriage. Do you understand the depths of marriage or even a serious relationship? The love, the support, the communication, right? The household operations. All of these are different things that has to be present in a marriage for a marriage to barely make it. so if you thinking that you're going to be able to have this marriage void of love, void of support, void of communication, void of household operations. What is household operations? The chores, the cleaning, the waking the kids up on time, sending them to bed on time, dealing with the teachers and the principal and the schools and the speech therapists and the counselors and the dentists and the doctors and all of those things, right? Psychologically, while you and your spouse may have stressed out days, depressed days, may have hardship days. Why having hardship? The business is crashing. The house is in turmoil. Somebody say, you saying because I open up a business, my house gonna be in turmoil? No, I'm telling you that if you decide to open up a business or marry another entrepreneur, 60 hours goes to the business every week. 60 hours, that's average. Now, where do you have the time to come together, especially if you're parents? If you are parents, you still got to have time to do the schoolwork, the homework, the dentist runs, the doctor runs, the Christmas shopping, the weekend soccer games, football, baseball, boxing, swimming lessons. You still got to find the time to take them shopping and get the new forces and all that so they can stunt with their friends and all the other crazy things. You still got to find time to check the cell phones and to check in the DMs and to make sure they ain't into nothing too crazy. You still got to be a parent while being a husband or while being a wife, while the number one thing, you still got to supply that work at nighttime under the sky. You know what I'm saying? Some people are like, I'm too tired to do all that. You take sex out of your marriage and you're probably going to take yourself out of your marriage. So you still have to find time to be intimate with your spouse while running a business, while being a mom, while being a dad, while being a husband, while being a spouse. So do you want to be in business with another person that is going just as hard as you are going? For the business, not for the marriage. Because I used to tell people this all the time. And why I'm talking about this, because if anybody have followed me over the last 4 or 5 years, you know when I first started broadcasting, I used to say, my name is Cash Parrish, and my business ate my life, so I share with you. So hopefully your business doesn't eat yours, right? I'm saying most of us don't understand the depths of marriage, and they come and tell me all the time, oh, I'm ready to be married. I used to be tattooing, right? And everybody come in there, I'm trying to get married. I will put the names on them, and I will cover the names up off of them. Some in a week, some in a year, but I would see a lot of people come to me twice. What happened? The marriage didn't work. Now, I'm telling you, with all of those things I said, look, some of us can't even have if our marriage get a hard gust of wind, they through, they gone, they over with, right? That's if we get that strong adversity come to us, how they say if the enemy come knocking, a lot of us can't even sustain a regular marriage. Now, do you really want to layer on top of your marriage entrepreneurship, right? And I'm saying that because a lot of people will come in there and they so in love, it's bliss, it's ideally, this is the best thing since sliced bread to get married. They will come in the room and get the name across the chest, on the back, on the arms, and next thing you know, in a few weeks, a few months, a few years, marriage broken. What happened? It's hard to have a regular marriage. It is absolutely a job and a task from both parties. The husband and the wife to come together and say, no, my marriage is easy. Man, it may get easier after some years, but I'm telling you, in the beginning stages, when you have to learn a person, live with a person, to wake up to different attitudes, moods and swings and feelings, and that could be you. That could be your situation, right? But I'm trying to say that it is not, at no point in time, it is for you to be taking this lightly or taking it for granted that this is an easy thing. And that's why I say they would come in there and they would tell me I'm ready to be married. And I'd be like, no, you're not. And they be like, why are you going to say that? You hating. No, I'm not hating. I'm telling you, you know why I know you can't be ready for it? Because you've never done it. And the only time you could get ready for something or be ready for something is something that you have already done. I have walked down this street 17 times. I know every crack in the sidewalk. I've been here, done this. I am ready to do it tomorrow. But if you have never done it again, every day is a new journey. It's adversity. It's ups and downs. It's profits and losses. It's customer complaints. It's something that is, look, man, there's brand reputation management problems with the name. Let me just go through some of the things, right? Do you know that if you decide that you want to bring your spouse in and it's just y'all two working, and sometimes there's that coworker problem. Somebody say, what you mean coworker problem? When you and I are on the job and they got that coworker that really working on your nerves, that could be your spouse. That could literally be your spouse, the one that's at the job today agitating or aggravating you. I'm telling you these things, you have to think about leadership and ownership. Because you have ownership don't mean you should be in leadership. What does that mean, Cash? I'm saying because your wife or your husband owns half of the company or owns whatever percentage, now I would suggest whoever the concept for, whoever created the company, whoever's the go-hard entrepreneur, they own the majority of shares in the company is a suggestion. Somebody say, why? Because it has to come to a point of who leads and who follows. Because if you are having two people that believes they both own 50-50, it's deadlock. That's what you want to do, but that ain't what I want to do. That's your opinion. That's not mine. I ain't rocking with it. You're going to have a beef or a conflict that cannot be resolved. So when you in that situation in the business, you can't leave and go home and share that news with your spouse because your spouse is the one you're deadlocked with. So I'm telling you that these are things we want to consider, that there is an opportunity for you to have conflict of interest between leadership and ownership. Some people don't want to follow. Hey, man, I'm a man. I ain't following no woman. Hey, I'm a woman. I ain't following no man. Hey, I make the most money. I ain't following this one. You and I got to make a decision. Do you take low and let your spouse be the CEO, leader, president of the company, or do you go up high and you tell them to get behind you? You about to drive the mission. Now, what happens when you have that workaholic? And somebody said, Cash, I thought this was about, yeah, I'm on topic. You got to dig me. Because I probably didn't even cover this. I think I might have breezed right past it. I said my wife worked with me for 10 years after Katrina to the tune of almost about $2 million. So I know about getting sales and generating revenue and running into problems and conflict. I know about that person at the front desk made me so mad. They talked to me crazy. They looked at me. They rolled their eyes. They treated me badly. Who? The person who worked today. My wife? You know, bruh. No, this our hustle. Why would she damage the hustle? She in the mood swing, having a problem. Nah, I gotta go and check my staff member who's actually my spouse. I thought you was talking about somebody else who worked for me. You talk about the co-owner? These are problems that happen. So I'm saying, you know how you have that, let me jump a subject. You know how you have the workaholic boss, and the workaholic boss comes to the job and you be like, oh, there go Mr. Greg. You better get busy. He gonna tell you to do something. He's the workaholic, always want to see you grinding. That workaholic, that's me. I'm the one come through there like, hey, you ain't got nothing to do? Go edit the website. We can upgrade this, do that. Okay, not a customer here. Go take care of that. Oh, shucks, post this on social media for me. I'm the workaholic boss that you're running from. If you decide you want to marry me and come to work with me and be my, but look, I don't stop. I keep working. I build, I carpenter, I edit, I design, I write, I script. I mean, it's endless. So if you decide you're gonna marry an entrepreneur and you're gonna help that entrepreneur, or you that entrepreneur, they got some people who don't like to work that hard. They gonna say, hey, look, man, slow down, man. We working 60 hours a week. And you're like, that's the only way it works. That's the only way to go until you build a business model that works and profitability, so that way you can hire other staff, so that way you can wean yourself years down. Again, that's company, that's not job. Weaning yourself down off of the positions. We talked about sales. We talked about marketing. We talked about brand development. We talked about business architecture, or whatever the positions you have at your company. Now, I'm going to say a few more things. I'm just saying, consider these things. They can happen on your journey. Cash Parrish is never talking just to hear yourself talk. I'm going to give you a lot of game. And it's just one topic, you know what I'm saying? But you got to think about that staff member that likes to ride the clock, man. What if you are, or you have married that staff member who know that they theoretically don't like to go to work and work? There are people who come to work to steal. Not steal tangible things, but steal time. They want to clock in and hide in the bathroom. They want to clock in and go by the water cooler. They want to clock in and get on Facebook. They want to clock in and do nothing. They pray it slow so they could get paid to do nothing. That's you or me or somebody. Is that somebody? But what if that's your spouse? You are praying for sunshine and busy days, and they are praying for a slow day, you see, so they don't have to work. That's reality, man. That's the reality of what's really happening. They're waiting for a day for them to say, oh, well, if you ain't gonna be that busy, I'm gonna just take the day off so you could be short-staffed. That's what they do. And they do it knowing you love them, you know what I'm saying? And they could get away with it, right? If you allow that. I don't know how your relationship or your marriage work, but I'm saying if you allow it, they know they're going to pull that card because it was kind of slow. So they just going to like try to get out of work, you know? So I'm trying to say those things to say it's not all bad, you know, but you're going to have to think about the personalities that you have, and does that personality of your spouse work in your business, you know? Talking about the customers, mishandled by the staff, I covered that. I was talking about that. But let's talk about firing the bad apples. What happens on a day that you have to go in there and make a change in positions, leadership, or totally get rid of somebody, right? Because you don't like the job that they're doing or how they're treating the business. And that somebody is you getting fired, or that somebody is your spouse who you have to terminate, get rid of. They toxic for the business. Everybody's not good people, bruh. Everybody, you might think you in love with a sweet angel or blah, 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 but then you hear the reports from them working on the job, and they got people who really don't like, man, that girl toxic on the job. That guy is toxic on the job. And that could be the one you in love with, the toxic person who works at the corporation that came to your job and tried to work for you. Man, I would know if my people toxic. Oh, whatever, you know. Everybody think they know their spouse to the fullest and then get surprised. Everybody gets surprised by something. So I'm trying to tell you that hiring or firing that spouse may be inevitable to get rid of that bad apple. Can you do it? Can you walk in that room and fire your hubby? Can you walk in that room and fire your old lady and then go home tonight? Can you do it? If you can, you got to consider it could possibly be needed to be done. It could possibly be needed to be done to drive that company to success, to keep it open, to keep it rolling. And you and I got to make a professional decision versus an emotional decision. An emotional decision says, I love you, I'm going to let you slide. A professional decision says, you're messing with the brand integrity, you're messing with the company, you're jeopardizing our livelihood, you're jeopardizing our growth and success, you got to go. Emotional versus professional. Which decision you're going to make? Are you going to have that spouse there and they're going to slack and you're going to allow it? Or are you going to reprimand, discipline, and handle your business like a owner of a business, like a CEO, like a president, no matter who's the person? Do you have law? See, law says if a kid jump off the building, splat, they hit the ground. Law says if the cops jump off this building, they hit the ground. If the doctor jump off the building, the old lady, they all gonna hit the ground. That's law. Law don't discriminate. Law don't have emotions. Law just lay law. So I'm saying, can you lay law down in your business to where your spouse know you not playing about running that business? Or can you handle, if you have a spouse that ain't playing about running their business, get there and handle your business or be fired and be good with it? Can you do that? Huh? Do you plan on having those off days, extra off days, and calling in sick? Well, how you calling sick when your spouse live with you and they know you're really not sick? So how do you get out of these things? So I'm telling you, there's a lot to consider. You know, there's physical days that you don't want to work because your body is taking a toll. There's mental days, your body's taking a toll. And I'm going to say this last one, man. I'm saying, you know, sometimes there's that crazy staff member on the job that you be like, man, this person crazy. You know, they nuts. I can't stand working with this individual, right? But that individual this time may just be your spouse, the crazy individual that you work with, that you decided I cannot stand working with this individual, you know what I'm saying? But then you have to go home to that individual that drove you crazy on the job, that worked on your last nerve, that got all your bad side, that one that needs to be terminated. So it's not, let me say this, it's not all doom and gloom, but there is, I believe, so I'm going to wrap up, I'm going to say, those are things to consider. But let me go on another note, because somebody said, Cash, you just beat it all up. I told you I was biased, you know what I'm saying? But let me say this, though. It's not all doom and gloom. It is good to have somebody that can understand what you're going through, that can relate to the business, somebody that believes in a dream and a vision. You know, I don't necessarily think that it has to be your spouse, you know, but if that's the path that you choose, you have to take it to consideration. With the good comes the bad. It's the scales are balanced, and it's probably going to be weighted more to the bad than the good, because we always remember the bad more than we remember the good. When you make one mistake, that mistake may hit and have an impact greater than all the good you did. So you have to take into consideration, somebody decided they're going to spend an extra $100 today out the business account, and you not having it, you know what I'm saying? But they like, that's my money too. That's our money. What are you going to do? How are you going to run it? How are you going to operate proficiently and efficiently? And I'm saying that you can have a better business working together. But I believe in separation of church and state. I believe in separation of household operations and business operations. What happens when you upset at the coworker or the staff member and you got to go home with them? What happens when you're focused on a business, but you work from home and you work with your spouse in a business? It's all around the house, on the walls, on the desk, in this room. You're trying to take this phone call. You don't have personal time. I'm telling you that marriage by itself is complicated. It's challenging. Again, I said it earlier. Some of us can't stand a hard wind to blow on our marriage and it might fall apart, right? That's normal. That's without the extra adversity and stress of owning and operating a business. So I'm going to say two things and I'm done. So if you choose to dive in the game, you have to take into consideration how deep the game is. This is not nothing to play with. You have to be convicted. You have to hustle. You have to have your mind sharp and focused. When you are not doing entrepreneurship, then you should be studying entrepreneurship. Now, somebody said, Cash, I ain't with all that. I'm just trying to have a little job. Well, then again, we talking about two different subjects. You want to make a few dollars to stay afloat at the household, and somebody else want to make a business that can employ people, grow staff, and have greater opportunities and greater profitability. Look, everybody who open up a business ain't trying to get rich. They're a nonprofit business, and they're people who cap themselves, say, I'm cool with $200,000 coming, to the crib for both salaries. I'm cool with that. Everybody's not trying to get rich, but take it serious. If you're going to do entrepreneurship, take it serious, and be convicted and be dedicated to the cause that you are out here for, that you are trying to do your thing as best as possible. You want to make sure that if you decide that you're going in, you both go in with the understanding of the complexities of business and the of having a marriage. And if you don't understand those things first, I think you should do more talking to elders, talking to old folks, talking to veterans, talking to people who own their business more than 10. Ask them about the struggles and the things that they've been through. People who've been in marriage, look, man, I'm not knocking nobody, but it's hard to listen to somebody who got less than 5 years trying to teach something. It's hard to listen at a marriage counselor who ain't never been married. It's hard to listen at the hustler who ain't never. Somebody want to tell me, Cash, you should be doing your live broadcast like this. Man, did you ever push the button and go live? I've been going live since 2015. How long you been going live? I got over 200 live broadcasts in my belt. I don't actually need your opinion. I actually don't care about your opinion. I actually feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, how I'm supposed to do it. I've been doing it longer than most people, That don't mean I'm arrogant or cocky. That just means I'm confident in standing on the things that I know for surety, and I'm not going to be blown away by every comment or thought from somebody who don't actually do it. So why am I saying that? Because if you're going to do business, go talk to people who did it, and been there successfully for years, not days. I'm not taking marital advice from somebody who had a 3-year run. Not doing it. Just not doing it. Just not happening. We just can't talk. Can't holler. I've been married since 2001. So it's hard for me to listen to somebody, man, I got married 6 months ago, man, I know it all. All right. Good luck. You know what I'm saying? I've been in business since 2015. Good luck. You coming right up on your 5th year. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see where you at in another 5. Holler at me if you here in 10. So I'm saying those things just to say that is just me being crazy, talking about the power couple thing. I don't think, in my opinion, that shouldn't be goals. Goals should be for marriage, to love each other, to cherish each other, to protect each other, to be there as individuals, people, as husband and wife. And entrepreneurship, I don't believe should be something. My wife got a corporate job in 2014, and I'm telling you, I think that was the best thing for both of us, that she can have her own life, her own friends, her own things. The stress of the business, the worries of the business is not on her. And she was helping, she was there in a helpful role and did a damn good job, but I was there for real. Like, I was there out my mind in it. My business ate my life in it. You know what I'm saying? I've been there like that, and I continue to be immersed in business. Like, it's a lot of times that she wants me to spend money on stuff. I be like, no, that's for my goals. I'm trying to get somewhere. I'm trying to do something. Man, you got all of that money. Spend that money on me or buy the kids this. No, that money is for the business. It's for my goals. So we go back and forth even till this day on certain issues, But I say it's been a pleasure to see her grow and excel in the top in corporate using the game she got from entrepreneurship. That's just how she did it. And I respect that, and I appreciate that. And she's happier, and we have a better marriage because it's not revolving around business. Now, I worked with my wife for 10 years in entrepreneurship, hand in hand. So I'm telling you, I'm not talking about somebody who didn't generate money. I'm not talking about somebody who had an idea and a thought and a concept. And I'm not talking about somebody who haven't put in the time. After 10 years of working with her, we called it quits. She went on and got her corporate job, and it's very successful and happy, and I am too. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that some of those things have given you an idea of some of the challenges that come up in entrepreneurship. My name is Cash Parrish. I am located on every platform under the brand of Co-Create NOLA or Cash Parrish. And you can find me there. I'm sorry that the podcast was so long because I usually keep them about 25 to 30 minutes, but it was a good one to me, at least, and I hope that you have enjoyed it. If y'all think that was good, just give me a round of applause for that. Yeah! So I hope that some of those things that I said can get you a bag of money, and we're going to get the hell on out of here. Y'all follow me at this co-create-nola.com. That is my website, and y'all can check me out at co-create-nola or co-create on all social platforms. Peace!